Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, sampler video series videos I've been doing for a little while now. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about the stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. It is frightening to me the difference between how I'm able to articulate my intro when I've had some sleep versus when I haven't had some sleep. Because I uploaded some videos, I recorded some videos yesterday where I did not have much sleep, and boy, oh boy, were they a bit sluggish. But anyway, folks, it's a super simple format. I'm going to go over there, I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm going to yammer on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I am inside my truck, and whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing grody work clothes. Typically, when I'm inside the truck and I'm wearing grody work clothes, that means that I was on my way home from work. I found some shit to review for you. But what is it? What am I doing? What are we doing? And yes, that is actually the case today. I went over there. I got off of work about an hour ago, and I was hungry, man. I was like, I didn't eat much for lunch. I was gonna go over there, hit up like a McDonald's or some shit, but I was like, nah, I don't know, man. So instead, I decided to go over there, hit up a gas station I haven't hit up in a little bit, peruse around. I like gas stations. They're great for, finding review items. And sure enough, I found some shit to review. So, what is it? It happens to be, boom, Pepsi Cola, but not just any Pepsi Cola. No, indeed, folks. This is their soda shop line. This is Pepsi Cola made with real sugar. Ooh, it's fancy. You gotta hold it with the pinky out. But yeah, like Soda Shop is like Pepsi's like weird sort of artisanal quasi-premium line that every now and again they release stuff for. A few years ago like 2 years ago, they released like their Pepsi cream soda and their Pepsi black cherry. I reviewed both of those, by the way, in case you're interested. And I honestly thought that they were done with the Soda Shop line, but sure, man, it's Pepsi with real sugar in it. But I'm not just going to review this. I am, in fact, going to do, boom, a comparison. See, we got Pepsi Cola, all fancy, and this is just corporate Pepsi. This is your basic bitch Pepsi right here. So I'm going to try this out, and I'm going to compare it against, the stuff that most of us, at least here in America, are used to. Let's give it a go. I've certainly had Pepsi with, like, real sugar before. You can get it from, like, Mexican supermarkets and stuff. So I should have grabbed one of those, done like a comparison, but I'm nowhere near a Mexican supermarket right now, so. Smells like Pepsi. I like Pepsi. I'm more of a Coke guy, but Pepsi's good too. Ooh. Ah, shit, I didn't do a thing for the thing. Crap! Here I am talking about being awake today, and then I'm not even doing stuff. Let's do the thing for a thing. Ha 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 ha! Can we do a thing? Ha 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 ha! Sure. Doing stuff all out of order. I mean, that's definitely a noticeable difference, like right off the bat. It's been a little bit since I've had a Pepsi, now that I think about it. I used to get them at my work more than any other place because we just had limited vending machine options and I didn't always want a Coke. But we went over there and we revamped stuff, and so now we have like a proper break room and shit, so we have like a lot of stuff to try from. I mean, it's good. In my experience, I've enjoyed Pepsi with real sugar more than I've enjoyed Coca-Cola with real sugar. And mind you, I like it pretty much across the board. Like, people love to shit on high fructose corn syrup, and it's like, look, dude, I mean, never mind the health stuff. I don't, I'm not claiming to know one way or another on that. In terms of just flavor, and yeah, it's probably because, I just grew up with the fucking processed shit. It's like, it's never been an issue for me personally. I don't have any problem with the corn syrup stuff. But there is definitely a difference. It is definitely a difference. It's nice. It tastes like a Pepsi, but, it's, ironically, it maybe tastes a little less sweet. Because typically when I think of Pepsi, I think of just, cola that's sweeter than Coke. That's kind of always been their hitch. This, I would still say it's sweeter than Coke, but at least kind of in my head right now, it doesn't taste as sweet as I think of when I think of the normal Pepsi. But other than that, it's a nice cola. It's refreshing. Like I said, the real sugar definitely makes a big difference. Like, it's not anything close to a 1-to-1. It is definitely a stark difference. But let's see if I like it more or less than the normal Pepsi that I'm used to. Yeah, that smells a little bit more like Pepsi to me. I wonder why. Yeah, that's a big difference. It's interesting. It's like, I think I maybe prefer. It's weird because I think maybe on some level I prefer the flavor, but I think some of that's just nostalgia, just what I'm used to. Because the soda shop version with the real sugar, there's definitely more dimension to it. Like, there's more going on to the flavor. Whereas with the standard stuff, it's more of kind of a blunt, kind of flavor profile. And it's not bad. It's still a nice tasting cola and everything. But it doesn't kind of jump at you or anything. It's just Pepsi flavor. And to be fair, that's what it should taste like. But yeah, like tasting it right next to one another, it's genuinely surprising like how different they are. Like, I don't even think that I would, if I didn't know better, if obviously didn't have the branding, if I didn't buy it and shit, this next to normal Pepsi, I don't think that I would know that they're the same product, or at least, functionally the same product. Because, yeah, there's just, even though I would definitely know it's still a cola, but it's definitely like a huge, huge difference. And yeah, there's just kind of more to the Pepsi with sugar. Like, it's just something about it, the way the flavor kind of lingers around a little bit and stuff. It's like I said, it's less blunt. It's a little bit less smooth than the normal stuff too. That's really interesting. I didn't expect it to be that stark of a difference. Yeah, normal Pepsi, little less interesting on the tongue, but smoother. And I think it's just a certain level of consistency to the flavor experience. Like, whereas the Pepsi with the sugar, it's a little bit more of a ride, not like crazy or anything, but it's definitely just got a little bit more going on. Whereas the normal Pepsi, like, it manages to just kind of convey all of its flavor in one go. Huh. That's really weird. Okay. Well, 3 questions need to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? And which one for me wins between the two? I'm going to go with yes, yes, and this is going to be a little bit harder than I thought. So, I have to admit, having tried the Pepsi with, having tried them right next to one another has made a huge difference. And it honestly kind of leaves me feeling the normal Pepsi, just it feels a little bit more bland than it did prior. Um, now the thing is, it is one of those things where it's like, well, there is something to be said for that too. I like the smoothness of it. I like just the fact that it just tastes like what I expect Pepsi to taste like. Whereas with the Pepsi with sugar, it's obviously going to be a little bit different profile. But I'm still surprised at how big a difference it is. Um, which do I prefer? You know what? I'm going to say this. I'm going to cop out a little bit. For one thing, I'm going to say that I don't think it's a 1-to-1. Like, even though, again, functionally the same product, for me, I think these are different sodas for different circumstances. I think normal Pepsi, it's nice, it's easy, it's refreshing. And again, if you grow up in America, that's the Pepsi you're used to. And I think that's kind of probably still going to be your jam. But the Pepsi with the sugar, man, it's just got more going on, and I think if you want to really kind of take your time a little bit, enjoy your cola a little bit more, I think it's got that going for it. So, I think for me, I think personally, because I'm going to go off of what I would buy the most, and I would buy normal Pepsi. Because, again, it's that nostalgia factor, and it's just the fact that it's just a nice, smooth, very simple flavor. Whereas I like soda with complexity, absolutely. And I do like the Pepsi with the sugar. But, again, it's just, I think that, just growing up with that, the normal Pepsi. So I think I have to give that the slight edge. But that's just me, personally. I am going to crown the normal stuff. And as for if I would get it again, specifically, we're talking about the sugar one. Yeah, absolutely I would. I think that I appreciate the fact that it is so different, and that it is giving me a very different cola experience, So I think for me, as someone who I enjoy cola, I'm an RC guy personally, but I like Coke, I like Pepsi. The fact that there's another cola out there that is doing something unique, has a very unique flavor profile, I would definitely pick it up again. And if I'm recommending it, absolutely. I think, I don't know how long it's going to be available or whatever. I don't know if it's going to be 1-to-1 with like Mexican Pepsi or something like that. But at least as far as if you run into it, and if you're a cola fan already, especially if you're a Pepsi fan, give it a shot, and I think that there's a lot to be said for it. It's not, again, 1-to-1 with Pepsi. I think they work in, their best at different circumstances, but it is really cool to just kind of, to see that. But anyway, I've yammered on for a lot. 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental rest of the month, Spanish rest of your folks. Go over there, have yourselves a truly extra fancy-tastic, well, I'll throw up the metal horns. Fuck it, metal. Have yourself an extra fancy-tastic rest of your life. Following 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity to your world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what do you do if you can't do it all the time? I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when you find yourselves in situations where you have to deal with said bullshit, it's important that we go over there whenever we can. Take a step back. Try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives. Hopefully, do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, what's your personal take on the sugar versus corn syrup debate? I know if you live outside of the United States, there's probably no debate, because that's just, But living in the United States, because, like I said, a lot of people, still very strongly opinionated one way or the other. For me personally, look, in terms of the health stuff, again, I ain't going to say I'm not a fucking doctor or food scientist or anything. Let's be honest. Down in that stuff, and regardless of either one, down in that shit in large measures ain't going to be good for you either way. So let's kind of toss that out the window. But, like I said, I think for me personally, man, I'm fine with fucking corn syrup. Again, it's a different thing, and I think, yeah, if you, it's partially just because, probably entirely because I grew up with it, but I don't take any personal issue. But if you do, one way or the other, I'd love to hear about it. Hit me up in the comments about it. Love to hear your opinion. Anyway.